What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. Today we're meeting with another person that is entirely too old to be acting like a teenager still. Keep watching this one until the end, guys, because this dude is almost 40, or over 40 actually, and he legit acts more immature than pretty much anyone watching, most likely. Seriously, it's kind of insane. Anyways, let's first see what his daughter thinks of him.
I went through a really rough breakup recently and tried to confide in him. I just lost my home and I lost everything that I have, and his response was, "You can come stay on my couch if I can use your car tomorrow." And that was his response to me telling him I had nowhere to live.
Yikes. Yo, imagine having a fully grown adult father that only allows you to crash at your grandma's house that he lives in and freeloads off of her at in return for using your car. Like, that's a fully grown adult right there that is supposed to be mature enough to be on his own and be a father to you. I mean, he has an adult daughter at this point. Well, he's living with his mom and just absolutely mooching off of her nonstop and has been for like 16 years. Apparently, when his daughter confided in him, there wasn't any, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's so rough. Do you want to talk about your breakup where you got kicked out of your house? I'm here if you want to talk." Nah, he was just like, "Fine, I'll let you sleep on grandma's couch. Just please let me use your car."
So at this point, he's stuck.
He is. He's got nowhere to go. He doesn't have experience in the past decade in his field. He's got no, meaningful relationships with friends that can actually help him build a reputation and move forward.
Yikes, sounds like all around this dude just, I don't know, lost his way along the way, and now he's just fully a bum, basically, living in his mom's house and not even hanging out with friends or really having a life of his own at all. If your kid sees that and you are rude to them or cold to them, of course they're gonna be, kind of distant and not going to help either. So I don't know what this dude's plan is, but it seems like he's kind of stuck where he's at for the time being.
We were both hired at the same fast food restaurant. He was hired first, and then myself a month later. I was hired immediately into management. We started working together, and he got angry because he couldn't boss me around at work.
Okay, that's a flex. You get hired at a place with your dad, and you get put into management instead of him. Like, how many kids can say they were their own parents' boss? That would definitely be a really strange dynamic, especially when your dad is mentally 16. Like, hers, it would just be so much different. That situation would all around suck. Still, the image of her working at a McDonald's or something, managing it, and bossing around her dad who was on, like, fry duty, cooking up fries all day, that's just hilarious to me. But I will say, I would feel so uncomfortable being one of those other employees and hearing them fight at work. I would just want to leave at that point.
Let's talk about how you're living with your mother, because this is pretty much a regression to high school behavior.
That's straight up facts right there. This dude is 40-something and just blowing off all responsibility and the entire weight of being an adult, basically, in order to run around acting like a high school senior that, like, hasn't picked a college yet and he's taking a gap year. Like, come on, man. What makes me confused is how you sit there acting like that 24/7, or you're living in that situation and you not once think to yourself, "Yo, what I'm doing is really wrong. This isn't how I'm supposed to be in this stage of my life. I'm 45. I need to clean myself up, dust myself off, and get back onto my feet where I can actually live on my own and not be a burden to my poor old mom who has pretty much been stuck with me, and no one else has contact with me at this age, and I just need to stop mooching off of her." I guess it's easier said than done, though, because, I'm sure he knows this all, and it's just hard to come to terms with for him, but still, man, you got to start making some better moves to better yourself, and you're going to be stuck like this forever if you don't.
Sneak out of the house for days at a time, just disappear. Your kids are still there for your mom to take care of. You sneak out of the house. When you're there, you just drink Mountain Dew all day.
Oh, wait, this dude is actually just me right now. I'm sitting here drinking Mountain Dew, editing this video, bro. Like, this isn't okay. I promise, guys, I have more than 2 outfits, and I actually do shower, okay? Please don't think I'm like this dude. But on a serious note, that's gotta be kind of crushing to hear that. That's what all your family think, including your kids, especially about you. Like, everyone around you thinks you're a complete loser and a joke, and there's nothing you're actively doing to fix it, which makes things 10 times worse, because at that point, you're basically just proving them right.
So you're really functioning pretty much below your capacity, below your level, right?
I totally agree with you.
Tell me why.
Hey, I wasn't expecting this dude to even agree with Dr. Phil. I mean, I figured he would, get all defensive like most guests or start making up a ton of excuses, but it does sound like he at least sees eye to eye with these people. I mean, even though the dude is living like a complete loser right now, it doesn't mean he isn't smart enough to realize and think, outside of himself on what's going on. It's just that he refuses to do anything about it, which I don't blame him for, because at this point he's in so deep it would be very tough.
I had a job interview in Seattle and another one in Galveston. And after I went and did those, came back home, my mom and Aunt Linda sat me down and said that if I do get a job out of town, they wouldn't let me take the kids with them.
Yo, so according to this dude, the only reason he didn't go out and get a job out of state, his dream job might I add, is because he couldn't bring his kids. That's according to him, okay? I say that because directly after that, his mom chimes in and corrects him, saying that all she wanted was for him to get out of there, get settled, and at least have a stable house, and know that he could support himself and the kids out there. And then they could fly out to be with him afterwards, which actually makes sense from a grandmother's point of view. I mean, she is probably just worried about her grandkids, and she realized that most likely at this point, just how much of a bum her son was. I mean, I don't really blame her for this. That dude probably did not even have the best record up until this point, and I'm sure he's been acting like a bit of a bum for most of his life.
Jeff's sister Monica wrote in desperate for my help, and that's interesting to me that Janet didn't write in. Janet's the one that's getting hammered here. She's the one that's got the laboring oar.
Yeah, this mom seems strangely complacent in all this. Maybe after, you know, him being there for a whole 16 years, she's just used to it, but still, you don't just sit there seeing your adult son that is almost old enough to be a grandfather himself living with the absolute worst of his ability. Why doesn't she say, oh, I should do something about this? Like, why on earth would only the sister call in? That's like asinine to me. If I was the mom, I would probably have forced him out of the house way earlier than that, but regardless, you know, I guess it's her life. If she wants to enable him for the rest of her life, I guess she can. It's not really working out well for either of them, and I will say both would definitely be happier if she was just a bit more strict and laid down some guidelines that got him out of the house eventually.
Life's not working out. You can go down one path, which is kind of the medical model, where you say, this is psychiatric, or there's another path you can go down, which you just say is dysfunctional behavior. That's where we find you, is on this behavioral path, correct?
So Dr. Phil is kind of introducing Mike Bayer here, who is a life coach that he brings onto the show pretty regularly, honestly. I see this dude all the time, and I can agree with Dr. Phil here. I mean, there's some stuff with people that is on like a chemical level where they really cannot control what's going on, and at that point, doctors should definitely be involved and like in charge of, you know, making sure that these people get things for their head to be figured out so that this person can continue to live their life as normally as possible. But then there are simply just psychological behaviors that people have that they need to break free from, and they aren't necessarily being caused by a chemical imbalance in their brain or anything like that. This dude isn't naturally wired to be a loser, he's just choosing to be. And then apparently with the help of his life coach, he can somewhat help get his life in check here. I mean, the dude still has a lot of time, trust me, he's only 45, but still that's also a bit old when you think about it, to be basically completely restarting your life. So he does need to act very fast at this point, because if he doesn't, well, there's a chance he'll be like this forever. It's very obvious that this dude realizes just how much of a loser he has been for the past decade and a half, and it's actually pretty hype that it sounds like he's gonna be getting help from this Mike guy, who apparently has helped many A-list celebrities according to Dr. Phil, and a ton of people in the past. Like, supposedly this dude is the real deal. So if he can actually get treatment from his team, that could be absolutely life-changing for him, for the better, and actually has me super hyped for him. Hey, you guys have been watching pretty far into this video, so real quick, I'm gonna challenge you to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss an upload of mine. And if you can do that all in the next 5 seconds, I'm gonna reward you with a couch to sleep on. I do have to borrow your car in exchange for it though, so tough luck. Anyways, on with the rest of the video. So sadly, this dude is of course full of excuses, and that's one of the reasons why he has been in this rut, because I think he just expects life to be super easy, and then when it didn't, he wasn't able to step up to the plate like a real OG and handle things. He just kind of hid and regressed back to a high school version of himself instead. What kind of an excuse is, it's too cold where I live, for not getting a job? Dude, if that was the case, how would anyone in the state of Alaska ever have a job, bruh? Like, if single mothers of 4 that have the most stressful lives can work 2 jobs at once, you can get 1 part-time job even, dude. Like, I really don't buy that excuse, and neither does anyone else in this room. Maybe he just expects everything to come to him, but I mean, who's gonna just up and offer a job to a guy that's 45 living in his mom's basement with no work experience for years? He must feel just so absolutely stuck and down in the dumps. I mean, because he is not personally gonna move or do anything to change himself where he's at, because at this point, this is how life is for him. You know, he's used to this. This is his daily routine. He might not even see what's so bad about it because he's so used to it. And he needs something else to come in from outside that is gonna help him get a foot in the door and actually start living his life again and get his life in motion.
Winners do things losers don't want to do. It's just that simple. Winners do things losers don't want to do.
You hear that, everyone? We got to step up and get to business, dude. Like, you don't want to be this guy, all right? Hopefully, he won't be like himself after this treatment that he's getting from the show, from that Mike guy. And all in all, I really do hope for the best for this guy. It's all his fault, but still, it would be a pretty terrible thing to know that, and I know that he knows that deep down. So let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.